If you give life to this canvas, it will curse you forever.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 Italian horror film The Well. The film is co-written and directed by, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher this name, Federico Zampalone. And it stars Lauren Lavera, who you may recognise from the Terrifier films. And the film focuses on her character, Lisa. She is a talented art restorer that is brought to Italy to restore a very old medieval painting back to its former glory. It was damaged in a house fire, and she has got a rigid time frame to get it back and restored. What she doesn't know is that essentially this painting is cursed, and it grants eternal life to those that kind of worship it, and there are evil things lurking in the pits below that are a threat to locals and tourists, and she realizes slowly but surely that there is a very, very dark past associated with this painting, but she has to kind of see it through. Right, what are my thoughts on The Well? Well, pardon the pun. This was a film that late last year, I think this is, even though it's a 2023 film, I think essentially it's released in 2024, and it was released late in 2024. I missed this at the time. I was aware of it. I just didn't get around to watching it. It was one of those I had on my watch list and that I was going to watch and review if I had the chance, and I just didn't. But I noticed that this was on certainly Leo's top 10 list of his favourite films of last year. And knowing how Leo reviews his films, you know, he's quite critical, really, in the most part. So if Leo really likes a film, then generally speaking, I know I'm pretty much going to like it, for the most part anyway. So I thought, well, I'm going to check this one out now. So I did. And I have to say, this is definitely a strong horror entry. It's a little bit messy here and there, and I have some issues with it, but overall it's very, very impactful. And it's obviously, I mean, it's Italian, and what I mean by that is I think it's Italian funded. It's certainly set in Italy, and it's definitely inspired by Italian horror, you know, the Dario Argento films and all that kind of stuff. It's got that real European flavour to it. It's got a really unique look and feel about it, sort of thing, and so it's got that going for it. It does feel like fresh and original and a little bit different. If you spend most of your time watching like Western horrors, you know, this will kind of leave a little bit of an imprint on you. It's got some incredibly vicious and brutal scenes in it that I actually found quite difficult to watch at times. They were almost hostile-like. And actually maybe even worse than that at some of them. You know, it's one of those films where people are kind of treated like meat, and I sometimes find that, you know, really disturbing, especially when they present it the way they do in this film. There's just this big hulking man that can't talk, he just grunts in a really unsettling way, and he just kind of picks people out of cells and decides, okay, you're the next meal for whatever is down this well. And when you learn what's down that well, that doesn't make it any easier, because it's pretty gruesome what's down there as well. I found it a bit bizarre that the people in these cells, which most of them I think were like American tourists, were like antagonising this brute of a man that was basically chopping him up like he was a local butcher. And they were antagonising him, and I'm thinking, shut up, you know, just what are you doing? Be quiet, stop it, stop winding him up. But it seemed like they couldn't help themselves, and I found that a bit bizarre, especially when they saw what he was doing. You know, this is not someone you want to be intimidating or winding up. I found the effects here to be deeply effective as well. You know, there's the effects of whatever's down the well, which I thought was quite disturbing and very well done, all practical. And you've got other effects as well going on in the film that I thought was really quite well done. Like I say, it feels a bit messy in regards to the narrative. You've got this story of this painting that's got this sinister thing going on, like it's curse or whatever. And it all kind of ties in to these things down the well, but I'm not exactly sure how it all kind of ties together. It feels a bit messy, if you like. The bits don't kind of link together particularly well. It's effective when you see them. It just kind of like, well, what is this? What is this well and these people in these cells being chopped up for this thing down the well? What's that got to do with this painting? And then there's a scene near the end that confuses you even more. And I'm not going to spoil it, but essentially, you think that, you know, the danger has gone, and then some other bugger turns up from the bottom of this well, and you're just thinking, well, if that's happened to them, why would that not happen to you? So it did kind of feel a bit messy in regards to the narrative, but I did find the whole thing to be very effective overall. I mean, I think if you're not a patient film goer, you might struggle. The first 20 minutes or so are a bit slow. You know, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get going, but once it does, you kind of like, you know, your mouth kind of a bit like that. It's like, what on earth is going on here? But I thought it was very well done. I had an issue with the ending because obviously we've got here Lauren Lavera, who is, you know, brilliant in the Terrifier films, the final girl. So she's making a bit of a name of herself for being a bit of a scream queen. And she's excellent in the film. I don't have a problem with her at all. I just found the ending, if you like, so you get like the ending, and then there's a bit added on at the end, and that was the bit I had the issue with. It felt like it betrayed who her character what was. This is character that had been established. It felt like she just she wouldn't have done the things that she did at the end of the film, if that makes sense, and it won't unless you've seen the film or you're going to see the film, I suppose. But overall, I found this really quite an effective film. Difficult to watch at times, watching through your fingers at times, you know. Very gory, very graphic, some stirring imagery. You know, it's got everything that you want in a good horror. It just does get a little bit messy here and there in regards to the narrative, but otherwise very, very good indeed. So if you haven't checked The Well out yet, give it a go and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I will of course be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.